And coming from Laos, pretty much everyone was Buddhist. And there are, of course, different types of Buddhism, but the Buddhist tradition that we embraced was very much relying on ancestral worship. Growing up, I was taught that Christianity is the American God. So I didn't even know how God was. Really, the truth is that he's for everybody. But us, for us growing up, it was, this is the American God. Christianity. Yeah. Continuing that on in my teenage years, I felt like the only way that I could be myself was to find friendships that obviously just led me down the wrong path of alcoholism and drugs and just escape, just anything that I could do to escape. Yeah, I was 20 years old. I was in college, living off campus, with a couple of roommates. I was in a very toxic relationship. I just was done. I didn't know how to escape it. And I just remember I looked in the mirror. I didn't know. I didn't believe in God. I didn't have a relationship with the Lord because of what I shared, just the whole belief in the different spirits and Buddhist tradition. And then also trying to embrace other religions too. I looked into New Age. I looked into witchcraft. Like, I was really searching. So I looked in the mirror and I said, God, I don't even know if you're real, but I hear that you are. I've had experience that, maybe you are. But I said, God, I heard that, if you're real, I heard that if you commit suicide, that you go to hell. I just said, I don't care because I am hurting so badly. I feel like this is hell on earth. I hate my life. I would rather go to hell. I don't care anymore. And wow. I took a bottle of sleeping pills and any medication that I had. And I realized I was dying. And what happened was, I don't know the timing. I don't know how long it took before I got to that state. But after taking the pills, I remember feeling like I was losing consciousness. And what I saw was I could see myself slipping into a different realm. It was like my spirit was leaving my body and I was entering into a different spiritual existence of, I literally, I visually saw this. I saw this, these bars come over me and bars come under me. And I knew I was about to be enclosed in a cage. Like, just wow. All bars from the top into the bottom. And I was about to be enclosed. And then at the same time, I heard it was like this low chanting that I just had this knowing that it was demonic voices. And it was just a really low, like chant. I can't even do what I heard. It was just like this low, like chanting, murmuring. And I knew, I was like, now I'm hearing it. Now I'm hearing this other realm. It was like fear came over me, absolute fear, gripping fear, rising fear. And so I'm hearing this chanting, I'm seeing the cage, and I'm going into and I knew it was a black abyss. I knew I was going there. And so what was happening at the time was I would slip into that. And from fear, like, oh my gosh, I'm going into this place, this horrific, horrifying place. Come back. I was just like trying to tell myself, like, no, come back. So I called my therapist and I called him on the phone and I said, this is what happened. This is what's going on. I know I'm dying. On my way to the hospital, I cried out and I said, God, I am so sorry. I said to you, I would rather go to hell, and I see hell is real. I see it's real now. I didn't really believe it, John.
Right. Yeah. I've interviewed many people who have had hellish near-death experiences, one of the things they said that it sounds like you just hinted at is that the worst part is the absolute knowledge that there is no hope.
Yeah.
Did you experience that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's why I cried out in that moment, because I said, God, I'm seeing this now, and now I see it's real. And I don't want to go there. I mean, I'm about to be caged up for eternity and tormented. And then, you know, as I was saying, it was just like, I knew it was demonic because of the fear. I can't even explain to people that gripping, paralyzing fear that came over me, that you don't want to be there. And so I just cried out to God and said, not that I want to be alive, but I don't want to go there. If you could do anything for me, please, I don't want to go there. I am so sorry, God. I just said I was so sorry.
After that first taking the pills, having these hellish experiences as you're in and out, then you recovered and went home?
Yes. So I recovered. I went home, and I was exhausted from being in the hospital. And I remember laying in my bed. I'm going to take a nap. So I laid in my bed, and I had this out of body experience. My spirit left my body, and I can explain like this. I'm laying down in my bed, and my spirit just went right through the mattress. I felt being sucked in through the mattress. And then I was now going down, down, down. I just remember thinking I was going down. I could feel like just quick, fast. It was like a speed, lightning speed. It just like going through the layers of the earth. But I'm actually seeing, you know, the core, the mantle going through the earth, just going straight down.
And is it dark? Is it?
Well, I mean, just through the layers, you're just seeing like gravel, you're seeing dirt, you're just noticing the, you know, how the earth is. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily dark. It just was like, oh, that's interesting. I remember studying this, never being able to see this up close. Like, never.
That's wild.
Yeah. How would anyone be able to see that?
You were aware that you were not in your body, that
yes.
you were dead or something.
I knew I was not in my body because I felt being sucked. I felt like I left my body and I was sucked through the mattress, and now I'm on this other journey. On this other journey. So I'm noticing.
And you were dropping?
Yes, I was dropping. I just was dropping straight through. I'm going, you know, if you look at the earth, you're going through the earth very fast, very quick, rapid, lightning speed. Like everything was happening just so fast. And so I'm going super fast. And then I drop into what I just knew. I was like in the center of the earth. And I was like, okay, just trying to comprehend, like, where am I now? And so I drop into this black pit is how I explain it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm back in hell. Like, I remember thinking I was going to hell just a day or two ago. And now I'm back there because the familiar blackness. And so what I share with people is, it's like, you know, people talk about a black, you know, dark night. But I mean, I just remember thinking, like, how could anything be so dark? Now I've dropped into this, like, I kind of just dropped into this pit, that black pit. And even though it was so dark and you can't see anything with your eyes, you just have a knowing. So I just had this knowing that there were these beings all around me. And I just knew that they were the demonic beings where we're chanting from before. And it was just, they communicated by thought. So obviously it's not us talking, it's just one thought after another thought. So the first thought that just jumped out, I knew that one said was, you're right, God isn't real. And then another thought, you're right, God does not love you. And then another thought, it was like one thought after another thought. And it was almost like their thought just bounced on me, and I heard it, and I had a choice. And my choice was I going to believe what they were saying? And something within me just something within me just said, you cannot partner with these thoughts. These are lies, and you cannot partner with them.
And I can almost guarantee you that was the voice of God.
Yeah.
Because my friend Howard Storm, who was a tenured college professor, he hears a voice coming from within, pray to God. And he was like, I don't believe in God. How am I going to pray to God? I don't even know how to pray, you know?
Yeah.
And the voice kept saying that. And when he finally started to, they backed off.
Wow. That's fascinating, because as you said, even though I wasn't a Christian at that time, something inside me said, don't partner with that lie. And so I knew I had to say the opposite, even though I didn't even know I believed it, you know? So I started just to come back and say, no, God does love me. No, God does care about me. I just knew I had to say the opposite. And so as I was saying, and just my thought or whatever was coming out of me to fight against these lies of God does love me, he does care about me. As I was saying that, right above me, this bright light broke through that dark abyss, broke right through, like just tore open right above me. And I really believe it was Jesus. I couldn't see anything, but what I saw was a horse. I saw a white horse, and I believe it was Jesus riding on this horse. It was just this bright light that I couldn't see a face.
You saw a person on the horse?
Yes, yes.
But it was a brilliant light that was coming out of him?
For sure. Just
what was that light like?
It was like, it was just the brightest light. It was white, shining, brightest light ever. You can't see a face or anything. I just remember just being absolutely shocked and astounded that something came through, because I thought, we just went through that entire earth down into the middle. How is this being coming through, like breaking forth? How is that even possible? You know, I thought I was so far down, and exactly like your friend, like swooped me up and it just rescued me from that pit. It was just like a lifting, you know, of my being with him.
And why did you think that was Jesus? Since you had no context for that being Jesus, really, right?
You know, I don't know. I mean, because I just thought, you know, you hear about him being the rescuer. I just really believe that it was Jesus, you know, that because I was like saying God is for me. And so I believe that he sent his son, you know, that he was sending his son to help me. Because I was saying, no, God is real. God does care about me. So I really believe it was Jesus.
Well, and what's wild is, you know, in the book of Revelation, Jesus is coming to rescue and to save on a white horse in the end,
yes.
Right?
Yes, on a white horse. Exactly. And so next thing I know, I'm being lifted up. I was rescued. And now I'm going the same way I came straight down, the same speed. I was now going back up. I'm back to seeing the layers of the earth. I'm like, okay, this is the way we came. Interesting.
Wow.
Back up. And I was like, okay, I'm rescued now. I'm just going to be dropped right back into my bed, into my room, into my college, you know, apartment. And no, I was passing up my house. I was passing up the streets of Milwaukee.
And you could see your house and Milwaukee going as you kept going up.
Exactly. Everything now was getting smaller and smaller. What I saw ahead of me I knew it was heaven, because I was heading to this place. And what I can share is I saw the beautiful radiant light. Like what I can say, it was like forms of angels, but I really couldn't see their full face. I just saw like the forms of angels. And what I can really recall was the most beautiful singing in a language I've never heard, but I knew it was angelic singing. See, that was a contrast to the demonic voices I heard that brought fear and that brought me, that terrifying experience. This was beautiful songs and singing of angels that immediately just washed over me with unconditional love and peace and hope. And then I remember thinking a sadness because I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to my family. I had a terrible relationship with my family, but I wanted to at least say goodbye. So when I had that thought, I heard, and I knew it was the voice of God. I heard a tangible voice say, "It's not your time." And right when that voice released those words, I dropped right back.
Yenh calls on God to forgive her and to rescue her. And she's trusting in his love for her. And who comes into this dark pit, this abyss? She says it was Jesus, and Jesus on his white horse, just like it says he's coming back, in the end on a white horse. Now, here's what these hellish near-death stories have in common. When people call out to God for forgiveness, Jesus rescues them. And the Jewish prophet Joel said this. He said, "But everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." And Paul in the New Testament quotes Joel saying the same thing, that because of what Jesus has done, God is willing to forgive anyone who turns back and wants it. Whether Buddhist or Hindu or Muslim or atheist or Christians who are just Christian in name, but they've never really given their lives to God, all who call out to God for salvation, Jesus saves. Now, how do you explain that? That I am showing you people from around the world, and I've interviewed 70 of them. There's 70 of them in the book, Imagine the God of Heaven. And they are testifying to the same reality.